Okay, so I feel like it's remiss of me to even have to do a video on this, but like I'm glad it turned out the outcome that I expected because if it didn't, if it didn't, this would be a whole different video. But either way, I don't like that battle. I think the last time I watched it was like it was the Giorno Joker thing, which I don't agree on because I think Giorno should still be able to be a Joker. I feel like the JoJo verse is, in some cases, if you're not counting the protagonist bullshit, um, stronger than the Persona verse. The JoJo verse is stronger than Persona verse, but like, yeah, that one was bullshit to me. I haven't watched that battle like a lot since I was like maybe a teenager, not even then, maybe like a preteen. So that kind of ties to the whole title thing as well. What I said in the title about the toddlers, but the thing is, yeah, toddlers, children. Um, I would go so far as even to say man children. But regardless, this is just cringe. It's just cringe, and I have to. I'm gonna have to go. I'm not gonna go through all of it. I'm not even gonna go through all of it. You fucking, I've gotta get paid for this. But I'm just gonna go through some parts that I thought were because if you saw my live reaction to this, I wasn't mad or anything. I was just being like, oh my god, this thing is ass. Like a few times, basically, just change that change that wording to like this is ass. Basically, just saying the exact same thing but different ways, right? But yeah. So first of all, red flag. Tree sponsors. Tree sponsors, right? So you know where they're in it for. They're in it for the money. Three different sponsors, by the way, not the same. One is fucking Raycons. One is fucking I don't even fucking know what this one is. And I guess like a merch shit, and then the other one is like a game. Wow. So they started off with the less egregious one because it's a game, so people might relate to that. Then they went on to clothes and then Raycon. They even structured their ads specifically to get Jerry money because they knew if someone people might click off the merch one. They're less likely to click off the game one. But anyway, moving on. So how do I put this? So I'm sides for both of these franchises. I'm actually more side for Pokemon because I started off. I grew up with Pokemon. I'm a much huger Pokemon fan than a Yu-Gi-Oh fan actually because I've played all the Pokemon games except for like the most recent CA because I don't really fuck with that shit. And I stand by that. But like yeah, I've played all the spin-off games, this, that, the so I'm a way bigger Pokemon fan than I am a Yu-Gi-Oh fan. However, it's just so silly to me because this should not even be a discussion. Ash versus Yugi should not be a discussion. It should not even be something that he can bring it up for like he can. I feel like he can bring it up in a conversation, but then laugh at it because it doesn't make any sense to compare these two. It's like comparing a drop in a puddle to the entire ocean. I'm genuinely being serious because the Yu-Gi-Oh verse is. Let me just show you something real quick right here. I think I can get it right here. If not, I'll cut it out. Yeah, the Yu-Gi-Oh verse literally has rank 5 and rank 4 eldritch creatures, eldritch entities as easy to summon rank 4 and rank 5. I don't know, maybe you might not know what that means, but if you don't look it up what rank 4 and rank 5 means or XCs, I don't know who might watch this video if it's gonna be Pokemon fans or gonna be Yu-Gi-Oh fans, but if you I guess Yu-Gi-Oh fans can explain it to Pokemon fans, and Pokemon fans can explain it to Yu-Gi-Oh fans. Or if you're not either of anything, you just I don't know, fuck off, or like just you do your own research. But yeah, that's not even what I'm gonna go through this. well, not like I said, not the entire thing. So basically, first of all, I hate these guys so much. Like they are just the people who run the two phases of the death battle are just like first of all they didn't have personas before. So and the personas they have now are pretty cringe, I'll be honest. But like one is just supposed to like almost Rick and Morty nonsense, and then the other one's just like a I don't even fucking know a trucker guy or some shit. But the thing is, right? I don't even want to stare at these things for too long. But the thing is, right? Like they have their team, of course, because that battle's been a thing since I even know, like fucking early 2000s, I guess. Um, I would, if I had to guess like a wager, I'd say 2010. I don't think they were around much in Machinima. Sorry, I keep mispronouncing that one. But yeah, um, Machinima. They might have been around there, but either way, they were a lot better back then than they are now. I'll tell you that one for sure. Um, that's why I used to watch them back then compared to now. But even now, it's like, like. But anyway, so right, so these guys, these two talentless guys, allegedly, right, are the faces for that battle. But I'm pretty sure whoever edited this and did the animation for the end, those are the people you want to put the talent for. But they're the ones who will be faceless. They'll be the ones who will never be. They might be credited, but they'll be the ones that are the editor and the person who made the animation are the ones that will be faceless and only might maybe credited. But these two guys that are the faces will be talentless and the faces. That is just how unfair the world is because I really fuck with this edit. Whoever edited this entire video, I fuck with it a lot because it was really really good editing and the animation. Even though I don't really fuck with the 3D style, how it was really really good. Um, it was pretty nice. Both of those things were pretty nice. So that's what I'm trying to say about that. Um, the funny thing is, when I was watching this nonsense, um, I thought they were like really glazing ash, like really, 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 really glazing ash. Like first of all, they talk about the aura thing here, for example, and then they bring it up here, and they're like, actually, he didn't really master aura, so it shouldn't count. So why bring it up here? Is what I'm trying. Like they just bring up shit. They do a lot of quote unquote research, but their research ends up being like how you do research for something that's um like an assignment that you have to just do um do it like the next day. So the next day is the assignment, and you just do the research. Like their research is really terrible, like really really terrible. I'm gonna point out that as well. But a lot of the stuff for Ash they brought up, it's like extra credit. Like how like that's why I said that I thought they were glazing Ash, but it was genuinely like why even bring up some of these things? And for Yugi, I feel like they should have brought up more of the was it like dark side of the dimensions and all these other things he's appeared in because they said they were basing it for both of the sides on mostly anime, anime for Ash and then anime manga for Yugi, I think. But the thing is, you should like you should still have if you're doing it on the anime. Yugi has appeared in a lot of movies, like Dr. mentions, a lot of things that have just evolved his deck as well, so that should be included as well. But it's how they presented the fight too, is just really, really nonsense. Like you have both sides somehow summoning everything. Like, how does that make any sense? How do both sides, when people say like, you can only have this amount of Pokemon, this amount of Yu-Gi-Oh monsters to begin with, on the field, it should have been like that. It should have been more strategy based than just yeah, like this part where the fucking tours come out of fucking nowhere. Like, how does this make any sense? How does this make any sense? It's appealing for toddlers, right? But it's not appealing to an adult who wants to see this thing um, factor in at least a little bit logically, like 1% logic, please. I'm begging. But no, it's not really appealing. And the fact is that because these guys are the mainstream, this is the mainstream consensus that's going to be gone with. So, for example, the Giorno Joker thing that I still disagree on because Golden Experience Requiem is they undervalued its potency. Golden Experience Requiem is, if not one of the strongest stands in JoJo, so it I have my reasoning towards it, but that's a different video, so I won't talk about it. But I will just say that they just undervalued GER a lot. Like, and I'm a fan of both of those Joker. I'm a fan of Persona and JoJo, but I still would consider that GER should have won that fight. But anyway, um, for this video, first of all, Yugi didn't even have to win with Magical Cylinder. It was just a pat on the back. Like, they just wanted to meme that. I know they just wanted to meme it. When he does that, and I don't know why it turns them to stone to begin with, but maybe that's like an obscure thing. Like right here, it turns them all to stone. I don't know why, but I guess that's just something they wanted. Um, so I also want to talk about how like people might say, oh well, if Ash had Arceus or whatever, it might be a totally different story. If you were to do that, you'd have to be fair on both sides, right? So if Ash had Arceus, you would have to because these are just the protagonists of their series, right? So if you were well, Yu-Gi-Oh has multiple protagonists. Pokemon now has multiple protagonists, but most of the time it's usually Ash, right? But although there's the ones for the games, but but anyway, for anime and stuff. The thing is, what I would want to say about that is that um like just because like even if you were to have just comparing the franchises, again, Pokemon is still a drop of water in a puddle to Yu-Gi-Oh's ocean. Because Yu-Gi-Oh is genuinely the most batshit crazy fucking mad game I have ever played in my entire life, and that's why I love it. Because it's it's absolutely batshit crazy, and there's an insane amount of cards printed that make it even more because sometimes you see stuff you don't expect. Of course, you see meta a lot of the time because it's meta, but there's a lot of things you don't expect to see from Yu-Gi-Oh that sometimes show up, and it's like, oh wow, that's something they can do. Like it's genuinely an interesting game compared to Pokemon's limited stuff. But if you compared Ash to Yugi, it's still a puddle drop compared to the entire ocean because it's like it's like oh my gosh, this is just so amazingly stupid. Like if you were to compare these two, because like when they were bringing up Yugi, right? They mentioned a lot of things. They mentioned the fucking Tree Gods fusion. That's great. They brought that up in the analysis too with the multiverse, right? Somewhere along here. Like, if you don't believe me, you can just check the damn video. I don't even care to. I didn't want to hear the fucking analysis on it, but yeah, they bring that shit up, right? And when they do that, it's like, okay, well, as soon as you bring up that multiverse thing, it's clear that Yugi won, right? Because if you're gonna bring that into that battle about this multiverse thing, it's clear that Yugi already won because there's besides if you're giving Yugi a thing that can alter the multiverse, right? And by the way, she is also what is it? Egyptian god fusion. She also allows like I know they try to go off of anime thing only, but she also allows to win to automatically. By the way, but that's just her effect there, right? Right. So um. Like, I'm just laughing my ass off with this entire discussion. It should not even be a discussion. It's so the stupid thing I've ever seen. It's the stupidest thing ever, bro. Oh my god. Oh my god. That's right, so Ash doesn't have even Arceus. He might have some legendaries, sure, but legendaries don't even fucking compare. You need Arceus to have even Ash even have like a single chance, and he doesn't have Arceus at the same. But Yugi has the three Egyptian gods. And this one Egyptian god fusion bitch, right? Yeah, good luck. Good luck, Ash. Yeah, like Yugi needed Magic Splinter to win that. Yeah, right. You're being absolutely serious. The only reason you're gonna say the only reason Yugi won that fight was because of Magic Cylinder. Yeah, right. First of when the Egyptian gods spawn, right? Let me just mute this fucking dog shit. When the Egyptian gods all because they're summoning them all at once, right? This battle, this entire Colosseum they're fighting, it should actually just be leveled. Because when you see one Egyptian god spawn in like the anime for Yugioh, when you see one Egyptian god spawn in the anime for Yugioh, it's like there's a bunch of like gusts of wind, like you feel like the world is about to end. So you having just all these monsters and then these just spawning like this entire Colosseum could just be leveled, and you should have won by that. He didn't have to go into any fusion. He did not have to go into any fusion. He did. I should be dead right now. Everybody should be dead except for Yugi, of course, because he's controlling the shit. Everything should be done. This should not have to. Like, okay. And the thing is, if you're also going off of the anime and manga, before I forget, let me look up because the Egyptian gods. You said you're going off of anime and manga, so I will go with what you're saying, right? For a dead battle, right? If you're doing that, do you know that the Egyptian gods, all three of them, are way stronger in the anime than they are in the game? Like they are absolutely busted in the anime. So, and you put three of them all at once. Yeah, okay, Ash. Yeah, you won for Magic Cylinders. You won for Yugi won for Magic Cylinder. Yeah, of course, of course. Let me look. Let me try to look it up. Yes, I looked it up. There's no actual like a lot of the because there's so many. There's so many effects for one of these Egyptian gods or each of these that some people are just they don't have an official consensus to how much effects they have. Because for example, this guy right here, right? He said my take on the anime effects of the Egyptian god cards. So this is his take, and you can see the yellow. I'd imagine these are stuff for the white is for all of them, and then red and stuff is for each. So red is for Slifer, Ra is the yellow, Obelisk is the blue. So again, this is somebody's take. It says my take. There are so many effects for these guys, these Egyptian gods, that in the anime that it really does not like you could have just as soon as he summoned those three Egyptian gods, it should have been over. He didn't need the fusion with them. He really did not need he did not even need magic cylinder. You just want to give Ash fans a little bit of a chance. Okay, okay, make it seem like they were about to win. Yeah, but it didn't matter to begin with. It mattered nothing. It mattered absolutely nothing. It's like I said, a drop in the puddle to the ocean. It's nothing. It's not something to be compared at all. And even if we were going with if Ash had Arceus, right? Like I said, to be fair, if you wanted to do that, first of all, you have to be fair because you'd have to say, okay, well, if you're giving Ash Arceus, which is something he doesn't have, then you should also give Yugi something that he doesn't have. So, and he can pick from anything from the Yu-Gi-Oh! If you're doing that logic, right? So, okay, so Ash gets Arceus from the Pokemon verse, and Yugi gets anything, anything from the Yu-Gi-Oh! Verse. Okay, so first of all, let me preface this by saying that Pokemon are only strong when you look at their cracked ass dex entries that some weirdo put into the Pokemon universe. Like I don't know how, because it doesn't. If we were to take um, Pokemon's dex entries, if we were to take Pokemon's dex entries by like just trying to take it seriously, this Mad Cargo thing, these dex entries about its temperature would like we would the Pokemon world would not exist if we took the dex entries of Pokemon seriously because there would be so much madness. You're thinking of they're having like a lot of Mad Cargo, a lot of Gardevoirs, like they brought up Gardevoir Black Wool thing. What's stopping a trainer making their Gardevoir make a black hole and taking the entire Pokemon universe with it? Like, what is happening there? So you can't really take these Pokédex entries at face value at all because if you did, there would be no Pokemon world. There would be none. It would be over, right? But that's the only time Pokemon becomes broken when you take the Dex entries. If you just take the moves and everything, it's nothing, right? So when you also said, like I said, if you giving if you give Ash Arceus, you have to give Yugi something from the Yu-Gi-Oh verse because they don't have these things, so it'd only be fair, right? If Arceus was there, you could assume that like if Arceus was there, you could assume that like you can say like either Dialga, Palkia, Giratina could show up, or you could even say because some people theorize that like that unknown, especially from like this, I think maybe the Sinjo event or whatever, that the unknown are like the hands of Arceus, so or the eyes of Arceus, however you want to interpret that. So you can also say that if Arceus shows up, the unknown might show up as well, and there are a lot of unknown. So if that happens, um, look, look at this. You're just the beer Arceus. like like or you just raw sphere right here. Where is it? Sphere mode. Right. These things and these things, by the way. Or if you're thinking, okay, if just Arceus shows up and nobody else, you can't do that, right? Look at these. Look at Kaiju's. Same thing. Just Kaiju Arceus. Just Kaiju the Arceus. That's it. And you want if you're gonna say, oh no, Arceus can't get affected by Kaiju's. Arceus can't get affected by Sphere Mode, nor Nibiru. No. Because there are cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! For example, the fuck ass Pirelli, right? Pirelli Noir. This fuck ass monster. This card is unaffected by your opponent's activated effects. Or you can even go with, let me think of another unaffected. Um, you can go with like Super Quan, I guess. There's a lot of cards in Yu-Gi-Oh that can get unaffected by stuff, but yeah, it can go Super Quan. It is unaffected by card effects except Super Quan, or I think the other one for the links as well, Ignister. Um, the Arrival Cybers, right? These cards that have unaffected by other cards effects. These are like really strong cards, or even like Raid Raptors, I guess. Right. So all of these cards fall to raw sphere mode. Not really Nibiru. Right, so all, if not most of these unaffected cards fall to raw sphere mode, Lava Golem. I forgot about Lava Golem even. You can do Lava Golem as well. They fall to um, sphere mode, Lava Golem, and Kaijus unless their effect, for example, like with Heroic Champion, I think. Because Heroic Champion says that you can't, that's why it's mostly bad. You can, like, your opponent casts normal summon special summon monsters, so you can't really do that there. But the thing is, the unaffected by other cards effects, you can easily just get past that by just by simply by simply just getting rid of Arceus with them. Like the kaiju is the easiest example because you just kaiju him. You just kaiju Arceus. There's nothing you can do after that. It's like over. And even after that, like how they mentioned how Pokemon can't really come back. Yu-Gi-Oh monsters can always come back from the graveyard as long as there's no conditions stopping that. Which in Pokemon there would be no conditions because Pokemon can't compete with it. Another thing is that like Pokemon is always like really limited. Like for example, you'd have um of course megas and stuff for them. You'd have Gigantamax, Dynamax, all these other things to improve them, but they still are very, very limited because they can only go up to like for example, if they were to be considered as attack values and defense values, Pokemon could only probably increase their attack and defense values by a little bit because they don't have the options. They have the Dynamax, Gigantamax, and they have the Mega Evolution for those that have them. But that's just like a one-time thing. Do you know how strong Yu-Gi-Oh monsters can get if you just use spell cards like equip spell cards? If you use effects of other monsters on other monsters, like they can get up to the regular Yu-Gi-Oh monster. If you plan your shit right, can get up to like so much attack and defense that like it doesn't matter. Like they can a single Yu-Gi-Oh monster is limitless, whereas a Pokemon, all of the Pokemon have limits. Every single one except for allegedly Arceus, but still, like I said, just Kaiju Arceus or get rid of it in that similar way. There's no thing. And if you, even if you gave Yugi Arce, sorry, if even if you gave Ash Arceus, even if you gave Ash Arceus, that's just a multiverse versus the multiverse because you said you're giving Yugi already which he had in the actual death battle. You're giving him the big fusion bitch of the god cards. So and she has multiversal capabilities. So that's already over because even if you gave Ash Arceus as a something to compensate for that for penance, right? It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Like because you're giving it's gonna be multiverse versus multiverse and at that point, like, why even bother? But even then, I think the Egyptian fusion bench is is stronger than ours just because she just lets you win the duel. She just lets you win the duel or the battle or however you want to phrase it. She just lets you win. That's in her effects. She just lets you win. So Arceus doesn't have that. He just has capacity, but he doesn't just let you win automatically. Plus, like a little child can catch Arceus. How are you gonna catch this Egyptian god in a Pokeball? That's not happening. It's not even happening in a Master Ball, I don't think, because it's not considered a Pokemon. So yeah, good games. GG's. Yugi wins no matter what. It does not matter if he magic cylinder or anything. It just matters that he exists. All that matters is that the Yu-Gi-Oh universe exists, and the Pokemon universe is done for it, and it's just nothing. And I even think that the Yu-Gi-Oh verse would actually just be Dragon Balls. But let's just not get ahead of ourselves. Let's just go into Pokemon and the Yu-Gi-Oh thing, okay? Yeah, I think Yu-Gi would beat Goku just by the cards themselves. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Whatever.